Welcome to day 5, moving beyond fear. Today's an exciting day. So much of the time we live our lives confined by imaginary limitations. Limitations we choose to believe. Sometimes inherited from our parents growing up, taken from their frame of reality. Sometimes taken from our teachers going through school. Sometimes taken from the society that we live in. As we enter the world, we start to get a sense of what is acceptable based on what the people around us think and feel is right. Sometimes these limitations are conscious. For example, it's unlikely that I will make $100 million in the next 30 days, in the next month. That's a conscious belief that I have about that outcome. But sometimes these limitations, these beliefs are unconscious or subconscious. Two different words explaining the same thing. For example, it might be the case that no one in your family before has ever become a millionaire. And I know this is just one example around money, because money is important to a lot of people and it's easy to use as an example. But maybe it is the case that no one in your family has ever become a millionaire before. And so you coming up in the world, taking on the perceptions and the beliefs of your family, your parents, and that development that you went through, maybe you have started to form the belief that it's impossible for you to reach that level as well. When of course this is a completely false belief. Of course it is. It's important to realize that we operate from a place of our unconscious. Our unconscious beliefs control and influence our thoughts, feelings, and actions, and therefore our choices in life. This is an automatic process, which is why it is so important for us to become aware of the subconscious programs that we may have created or inherited that may be limiting our happiness and success in our lives. It's estimated that 95% of our thoughts and beliefs are unconscious. That means that 95% of our choices and actions, which ultimately shape our lives, the lives that we live, are completely unconscious. We're not even fully aware of the reasons why we do things or say things or dress a certain way. It's crazy when you think about it. And I've experienced this in my own life. There's been times when I didn't know what my motivation was for doing something. I just kind of found myself doing it, even if it was out of alignment with the person that I am. To give you an example, one of the biggest goals I've ever set and achieved in my life was to own my own home. I wanted to, in my teenage years, when I was 18, 19, I wanted to own my own home. That was like the ultimate goal. I thought that would be a really amazing thing to have, and I set out to achieve that goal over maybe 4 or 5 years. And I achieved it. I saved a deposit. I put the deposit down on a place. I got finance. I got a mortgage. Purchased the place. I moved in. I actually renovated it and everything. And it wasn't until I stood in my own home for the first time, fully renovated home, where there was nothing else to achieve. There was nothing else to do but just to be in the moment of everything that I had set out to create, standing there by myself. And I was so unhappy. And I realized in that moment that I tried to work out what I was even doing it for, because it wasn't even something that I wanted. It was this unconscious desire to just feel worthy, to feel good enough. And at the time, the most valuable measure of success that I had in my frame of reality was to own your own home, which is why I had this unconscious goal, this belief and desire, which pushed me in this direction. And it was a really amazing outcome, which I'm really grateful for, but it could have easily been a negative outcome. It could have easily ended in a negative result. But it just goes to show that 5 years of my life was all motivated by an unconscious belief and desire to prove myself. It goes to show how powerful the unconscious mind is, and just how much, 95% estimated, how powerful and how much influence it has on our actual life, the life that we live day to day, the interactions that we have, the things that we go after, our standard of living, and our level of happiness and fulfillment. It impacts everything. The purpose of the subconscious mind is simply to keep the body alive. It is the function that keeps us in survival. The beliefs that we form or maybe inherit and use to navigate the world are all based on our past experience. The mind creates beliefs about ourselves and the world based on the past as a way to survive in the world. The beliefs that you hold about yourself and the world have been created by your mind as the best and safest way to survive in the world. If your body is the hardware, imagine this set of beliefs as the subconscious program. It's like the code that the hardware runs on. And these beliefs are all based on your past experience or your observation of others' experiences, whether it be your parents, siblings, teachers, role models, celebrities, anything. We all hold beliefs about our health, wealth, and relationships, but most of us are not even aware of what they are. And until we've done the conscious work to become aware of those beliefs and potentially rewrite them if they're not positive, if they're not working for us, until we do that conscious work, we are going to have 95% of our creative energy working against us. And I guarantee that you've probably experienced this in your life, because I definitely have. Have you ever set out to achieve a goal and you're pushing towards it? You're determined and committed. You're doing everything you can to work towards a goal. And yet it somehow feels like every time you take a step forward, the goal takes a step backwards. It's like it's just out of reach all the time, no matter what you do. This is the subconscious mind working against you. We don't realize the capability of our creative power. The good news is that we can quite easily reprogram the subconscious mind so that it actually starts to push us towards our goals. But in order to do that, we have to separate ourselves from the past. People talk about separating from the ego or transcending the ego. This is actually a really important thing that we have to do. But in order to do that, we have to separate from the past and all of the experience and beliefs that collectively create our frame of reality. The purpose of today's lesson is to really give ourselves permission to separate from the way things are right now, separate from the person that we think that we are, and to separate from our life story up until this point. We've done the work, we've done the self-reflection to bring the parts of our journey that we have shut off into the light. We've found the value in that. We have internalized those things, and now we're going to let it go. We are separating from the mind and what makes logical sense. And we're doing this to try to get beyond what we think is possible based on what we know already. So we have to separate from everything that we know and think that we are, our beliefs about the world and our past experience, everything that collectively makes up our worldview, our perspective on the way that this reality works. I want to reiterate the importance of giving yourself permission to allow anything to be possible. We grow up, we get taught how things are, what's possible and what's not. Our imagination starts to dissolve and we start to be boxed into the structure of the world that we live in. It's not meant to be that way. You use your imagination, use your creativity, and understand that anything is possible. Give yourself permission, the permission that you might not have gotten when you were younger. Give yourself that permission to imagine and dream of what is possible for you. And the vision that you're connecting to, it doesn't have to make sense. You don't have to know how it's going to happen. You just need to focus on what you would like to happen, what you would like to see in your life, what you would love to have in your life. You're giving yourself permission to dream. beyond your worldview, beyond your current identity, beyond the way that you look, beyond the way that you speak, beyond the place that you live in, beyond everything that you know, all of your current beliefs. Give yourself permission to dream of what is possible if you step outside of everything that you know. I know that this is difficult for most people. It's extremely difficult. We spend our entire lives being taught by others who and what we are, but it is so essential that we take this step. I want to do a quick exercise with you to make taking this step a little bit easier for you. It's a short meditation. I was going to do this meditation with you here right now, but in case you want to revisit this meditation, I'm going to put it in its own video. I'm going to separate it so that if you want to come back and redo this meditation, you can. So the next step is to jump into the next video, jump into the guided meditation, and just really allow yourself to go deep with it. Use your visualization skills and again, just give yourself permission to wonder what is possible, to connect to something beyond who you are right now and all of the limitations that you may have set upon yourself. And once you're done, I'll meet you in the next exercise. Peace.